your friends and family are going to change. Everyone changes, and we need to leave space. Like you said, we need to keep space for the fact that everyone is going to change. Everyone transforms, because life is about transformation. Like, I mean, I'm someone who's very spiritual, and I'm someone who believes in God. Religion, I'm still deciding. But I believe in God. I believe in a high power, and I think we weren't put on this earth to be just one thing. None of us were. I think we can be multiple things. We are layered, basically, like an onion kind of analogy. We are all layered. We are all multiple things. We are not just one thing. And definitely those things change. We shed these layers, and we gain more layers. Like, we're not supposed to be the same human beings. And I think a lot of the people have this a lot of people have this crisis of existence.
Yeah.
Like, the midlife crisis.
Yeah.
I think that happens because of that, because we don't accept that, like, I'm 40, what am I gonna do now, like, I need to change. Like, I mean, we don't accept that, and you've been changing since you were like 1 year old. We don't think about that. We're like, did you stay the same person since you were 1 year old? That's the question that we often ask in therapy to kind of challenge people when they think about change. We're like, when you were 5, are you the same person that you were when you were 5 now? Well, no, obviously I'm not. I'm a grown adult. I have a partner. I have kids of my own. Exactly. So, do you think that will stay the same? Well, no. Like, I'm gonna get old. I'm gonna leave my job. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. So, anything can change. You can change. Anything that is happening in your life, you have the ability to change it, because life is about change. Nothing is constant.
And to be able to embrace that, well, firstly, to be able to see that and then embrace it and use it in the way that you need to, I think the first step is to really pause and to check in with ourselves, which is
Yeah.
another thing that we don't do because we're so checked into our phones and our job and the people around us that we don't check on ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, I'm guilty of that as well. Like,
Oh, all
having
of
a
us.
business, I'm just all through the motions,
Yeah.
and that's how you burn out, actually.
Girl,
That's how you burn
tell
out. Like,
me
I've
about
burnt
it.
out. Like, in the year, I think this year, I've burnt out once. Not really burnt out, but got exhausted, because I was so absorbed with everyone else that I wasn't thinking about myself. Am I honoring myself? Am I really, even if I want to save the world, but am I making sure that I don't lose myself in the process? So, these things are very important to do.
I love to think about it as a glass. You cannot fill anybody else up if you're empty. I have to
Exactly.
constantly remind myself of that because I have a
Mhm.
bad habit of emptying myself out a lot of the
Exactly.
time.
Exactly. So, yeah, I think there's a lot to think about. When it comes to mental health, it's a lifelong journey. Like, when it comes to getting to know yourself, it's a lifelong journey. I think the advice I would give to anyone about anything that made, if anything of this didn't make sense, but the only thing that I think I would want to tell everyone would be that just be open to wherever you go in that journey, whatever the journey takes you, right? Just keep yourself open. Be open-minded to change. Be open-minded to difference. Be open-minded to um, ways of perspectives, ways of looking at things. I think open-mindedness has a bad rep a lot of the times, because it's like, oh, how are you so flexible? Like, why can't you just be like one thing? And it's like, but we don't have to be one thing, right? We need to be flexible. We need to
Adapt.
adapt, right? So stay open-minded, stay curious. I think curiosity is, I think, a great thing.
I love that.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing about humanity? I wanted to actually ask you a lot of questions about ADHD and depression, but I feel like we need to have another conversation.
About that,
Yeah, I feel like that'll be a whole other podcast.
Man, ADHD, it's a whole thing.
I know, I've got so many questions about it, but I know it's gonna go on for ages. So I think this conversation has already been really lovely. And I will finish off with this one question about what is your favorite thing about humanity? It's the best thing.
I think our ability to be creative. I think our creativity is what can help us to be resilient. It's what can help us to change. It's what can help us to be united. Because creativity in itself, I think we forget that it's not just me being able to paint or me being able to sculpture. It's seeing colors, seeing shades of gray in everything. Like that requires creativity, and the fundamental aspect of being able to see different things from different points of view is itself creativity, because you are creating a new narrative. You are creating a world where maybe this isn't this way, maybe this is this way, maybe this isn't just red, maybe this is orange, maybe this is yellow as well. So I think our ability to be creative, of course, affording us like the iPhone and everything that we have, that is amazing in life, but it also can help us to be better human beings. Also can help us to love each other more and to understand each other more and communicate better with each other.
I love that.
Yeah.
And what's your favorite thing about Seychelles? Had to throw that one in.
I don't know about now. But when I was a kid, I loved living here because it's just you get to play outside and have so many adventures and
Freedom.
and nature and everything. I think I used to love that actually as a kid, but now I think a bit of that has been lost. I wish that could come back.
I know.
Especially for my nieces and the new generation coming up. Actually, I think they need to experience that. But I would say my favorite thing about Seychelles. I need to think about that. I think as a community, as a people, we used to be very connected to each other. So it's my favorite thing, but like I said, it's not there anymore. So I don't know what I can say right now, but these are my favorite things: the freedom, the nature, and everything like that. Having nature and just being in nature. That's one of my biggest favorite things, and also how we were so connected to each other, but now we're not anymore.
We gotta bring it back.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that connection is a powerful and beautiful thing that we had, and we just need to bring it back. I think right now, I think with the current like climate of things, I wouldn't say there's a lot I love, but I think it still exists, that connection, because I do see it with a lot of people that I meet. The parents I meet, the kids I work with. It just brings me so much joy to get to know people and meet them and talk to them. I think the connection is still there. We're just so closed off from each other now, so like building up walls with each other that we don't open up. So when I see so many different people in my office, right? People who come from privilege and wealth, people who don't, people who grew up in a different way, people who didn't. And again, like I said, we are so similar in so many different ways that we forget. And I don't know if I would say I love about Seychelles about my job, but I get to see people, like I get to see them, how beautiful we all are.
There is diversity in Seychelles. That's one of
Yeah.
my favorite things. The fact that
Yeah.
there's all the different colors, lots of different cultures. It's special because it doesn't exist everywhere in the world. So yeah, I think
I love that. Yeah, I love that actually. I think the diversity, yeah. I think that's what I was trying to say. Like, it's so beautiful how we are all so different but so similar to each other. And yeah, it's true. Like, I think there's a lot of issues that plagues our society, but and then we have some it's bits in there, but I think we are the fact that we are a melting pot and we're able to live with each other despite our race, despite of our upbringing, despite how much money we have, we don't have. I think that we actually we used to be more exemplary at that, I think, but we are still very exemplary at that. Like, I've never felt like I don't belong as a like as in terms of my ethnicity and my race in this country. Like, in any circle I've been in, I've always felt like I was just say Showa, I didn't feel different.